Not Chip and Bear being Proctor's nicknames. I am not picking the bear in this situation. Absolute pass. So today is day 25 in the Karen Read Retrial, and first on the stand, the second witness in the defense's case, Jonathan Diamandis, which is Proctor's longtime friend. They've been friends since childhood, 30 plus years. And so, of course, as I stated earlier, I did think that Bev would let the messages in, and she did. And so, Yannetti did the direct examination, and he didn't go too deep into anything. I'm not sure what the tactic was on that, because Brennan is actually the one that went over these text messages, and he did it real nasty like. So Brennan wanted him to read the messages, and he was like, these are not my words. I'm not comfortable doing that. And so they did a sidebar, and he was like, well, I'll read them when you confirm them. He was like, sure. Why did you ask that man to read the messages? He had already told you he did not respond to the messages. He just saw the messages, and that was it. He was supposed to be there to verify that they actually happened. You wanted him to read them? Unacceptable. Absolutely not. You should never make people feel uncomfortable on the stand when they voluntarily helping you out, okay? But he did go through all of the messages, and I don't think that I knew that John O'Keefe's sister's husband passed through an overdose. Baby, they had through them in messages. I mean, messy. What? Did I miss that, y'all? Did y'all miss that? I thought he died of cancer too. They must have said he passed away of an overdose on her grave. First of all, why are y'all talking about that? Second of all, was that hidden? I don't think I knew that. Oh, dang. He was so sad he missed his wife. Now, of course, Brennan brought up the fact that, you know, because he was trying to get everything, he's trying to get what he can out through the defense's case. Real sloppy to me personally. But he was asking him, you know, well, did you know that why he got fired? He was like, I thought it was because of the messages. And Yannetti came back and said, you know, well, that's not really why he was, you know, fired. You do know he was fired because of his behavior with the drinking and stuff like that. He's like, no, I thought it was because of the messages. So no, I did not know that information. But of course they had to bring that out. But he did his little number. He did confirm the messages. Brennan went into them real messy like and read all of them so that they were on file, because I don't think the defense wanted to go into detail about what they said, just that he was sending messages to people he shouldn't have been sending messages to, which was all was really needed. They didn't need the context of the messages, but since he felt like he needed to get the messages out, he did, and that was that. So he was done. The defense threatened you with perjury? Really? Really, Officer Dever? Wow. What a show. Baby, she came to show up and show out, clearly. Next on the stand was former Officer Kelly Dever, who used to work for Canton PD, but now works for Boston PD. And then the commissioner had her come in before she went on the stand. And she think that was a good thing. No, ma'am. That was a very clear power dynamic. Well, we are here to support you. No, they not. They want you to say what they want you to say. That's point blank, end of period. Why would the commissioner need you to have you come in their office? You ain't been in office long enough. You ain't even run up in the ranks to be sitting in somebody's office. Oh, we're just here to support you. No, they not. Girl, no, they not. And if you believe that, you need to go ahead and put your resignation in, because that's not why they brought you to that office. Say what the fuck we want you to say, point blank, end of period. Yeah. So she's the third witness on the stand for the defense, and she did not want to be there. Even at one point, she made a statement of, yeah, you can say that. And Auntie Bev was like, what does that mean? It's either yes or no. And she took a very long pause, and it looked like she was about to cry. Like, it was in there, and you could tell she was talking herself down. Like, 1, 2, 3, breathe, 1, 2. She was about to bust out in some tears, and she had to take a moment, and then she said yes. She was very defensive from the beginning, and it was very clear, and it was very uncomfortable, because it was like, what do you have to say that's gonna be so bad, ma'am? Like, what's the tea? So pretty much when she was originally interviewed by the FBI, she was not interviewed by anybody else before then. When she was interviewed by the FBI in August of 2023, she told them that she saw Higgins and Chief Berkowitz in the Sallyport area for quite a long time, and she was not sure what they were doing in there. Now, why she was the one who was able to see this is because when the call came in about John O'Keefe, Sergeant Good told her to go inside and manage the dispatch area, and then Sergeant Good took they honey to the actual scene. scene. So she was in the dispatch area, and where she was, there were cameras there. And when they were asking her about the cameras that were she was able to see on this dispatch thing, she was like, oh, well, I've learned from the media this. Oh, I learned from the media that. Ma'am, they ask you directly, what did you see with your eyes? Your job was to be in front of dispatch. Then what does the dispatch camera show? What were you able to see? Oh, well, I learned from the media. No, man, what does your direct eyesight see? What? And somehow the FBI or somebody done got her some information that says, oh, your information was inaccurate because we have a timeline that shows it was impossible for that to have taken place. Now all of a sudden her story is, I didn't say that with malicious intent because that's what I thought I saw, but I now have been providing information that was inaccurate. What was you provided? And who gave you a timeline? And what does the timeline say? Because if I saw something with my eyes on this dispatch screen that my eyes were supposed to be on, because that was what I was supposed to be doing, what? And now all of a sudden somebody bring me something to tell me that my memory was bad? Absolutely not. You are an officer, and you are a new officer at that. Your memory should have been top notch on it. You should remember everything. You should be memory focused because that's part of your job as an officer. And somebody bring you a timeline, now all of a sudden it was wrong. My memory was mistaken. Easily manipulated. Thanks for letting us know. That's all that confirms to me, that you are easily manipulated. Because if you say this is what I saw a year plus ago, now all of a sudden somebody bring you a timeline and it's different? Absolutely not. Nothing you say is factual to me. Washed. Dismissed. But she was trying to get out ahead of Alan Jackson with questions because she's told, he knew she was getting uncomfortable, and he asked her, do you want to be here? And she's like, well, I have to be here because it's my job. But she directly stated that the defense team threatened her by phone call the first time they talked to her before trial 1 if she didn't come and say what she said, to the FBI, to them on the stand. And she's like, well, my memory was messed up. They done threatened perjury on you, ma'am? That's a problem in itself. And of course, as we know, they cannot mention the FBI. And so their way around that, of course, to let the jury know that they're talking about the FBI, is to say you cannot lie to this agency that you are being questioned by. And that should really help them know that it's the FBI. But she busted out and said the FBI. So honestly, besides the wins they already got, there was a big win that it was confirmed it was the FBI. So hopefully they don't have any doubt that the FBI was involved somehow. They should know because they live in Canton. But just in case it's over their head, hopefully that clear statement that the FBI, she said the FBI multiple times. So hopefully that helps them know, why was the FBI involved? Hopefully they wrote that down. So on Redirect, AJ went through her whole original statement that she said to the FBI and was like, those were your words. Yes, but they were those were your words. They were. That's what you originally told the FBI. You saw them in the Sallyport with that vehicle for a very long period of time by themselves. And then he did ask her if she knew anybody that was associated with the trial, and she said Sarah Livingston. Of course, everybody know everybody in this doggone trial, but she did confirm that it wasn't something she hid in the first, trial. She did say, yes, I did know her. Yes, I do know her. And then on recross with Brennan, she slipped up and said, because she thought this commissioner thing was a good thing. It was not. Set up. She says that, oh, well, my entire job relies on what I say on the stand because I have to be truthful. And AJ trapped her butt and said, your entire job relies on this? What you say on the stand? Yes, I have to say the truth. Why would your entire job rely on what you say on the stand if all you're going to be doing is telling the truth? Why would you have that mindset? Why she was so hostile, it was very clear. Her whole job is on the line. She has been pretty much pulled into offices to make sure that she tells them, I misspoke. That was not a truthful statement. My original statement was not true. And she done moved from one PD to another PD. Ma'am, all the signs are pointing. All right, they're pointing. Yeah, but she's done. But that was very interesting. Witness that unnecessarily was a little hostile. Can you believe that Hank Brennan apologized to Dr. Russell Unbelievable. He didn't really mean it, but he did apologize, so we'll say he did it. What a day. It's been a day. So Dr. Marie Russell took the stand, and this woman is overqualified to even be involved in this case, and trying to belittle her education, her knowledge, her skill level, her experience. Real nasty work, Brennan. Real nasty work. This woman has decades of experience. Her experience is older than I am. Sir, don't disqualify her credits, okay? Give her respect, because she's earned it. So she, of course, with the direct examination done by Alessi, of course, she went over her lengthy experience, knowledge, education, articles, all of that jazz. The woman has done it all in her field. She is a forensic pathologist, and she did testify in the original trial, and her testimony then versus now, the only difference is that she is more confident. She did explain, of course, why, you know, there is a difference in her testimony from this trial and the last trial, and that's because as a doctor, she was taught nothing is 100%, and she has stated that several times. That was what was programmed into her. Nothing is 100%. That's the only difference. So she did say that, of course, she believes the marks on John O'Keefe's arm are from dog bites and claw marks. She did say there were 4 different groups of his arm that were kind of broken into sections, and they look different in each different section. So there are 4 different groups per her opinion of what happened to his arm. She did, of course, also reference his clothing and showed those pictures. You know, these little marks are rounder than, you know, if they were done by a taillight. Because if it was done by a taillight, it wouldn't be rounded. Yeah, she's like, those are canine bites. And she, of the few people who have her experience, those are dog bites. That's what she said. And then, of course, with Brennan, his shady butt, he was trying to discredit everything he possibly could discredit, and she was so cool, calm, and collective. And the difference between the defense's witnesses that are not getting all flustered when they are asked questions on cross is being very obvious. We are only 4 witnesses in, and it's very obvious. It's y'all, not them. But he, of course, was like, you know, oh, well, one of your reports, didn't you have to have somebody come in and help write it with you? And she was like, no, they told me to put this here and put that there. They did a proofreading session for me, but that was my work. That was my content. I did that. All they did was help me make it look pretty. That's all they did. That was my work. So you trying to discredit her work? Nasty. Nasty. Don't do it. And he did say, you know, before Auntie Bev ended for the day, that you changed your original report that you did for this case. And she was like, well, I originally said that it was an animal bite versus a dog bite. Why does that matter? It still wasn't a tail light. So you confusing people, because you are harping on the fact that, because in my opinion, a dog bite still is an animal bite, right? It's not no difference, is it? It's still an animal. It's not a tail light. You making a big deal out of that? Only, that's all the jury can do is say, animal bite, dog bite. They not putting down, oh, it was a tail light. They not putting that down. So you harping on that, not helpful. Not to your case, at least. Not helpful to you. It's helpful to Karen's case, but it's not helpful to your case, sir, because that's what they're leaving with today. Oops, yeah. They left with that from today. Animal bite, dog bite. Which one was it? It's the same. Do you think there's a difference? That's as much as they got out of today with you. It was that on day 2 of the defense's case. They are 4 witnesses in already. They was getting them in and out. But of course, the morning session was way more eventful than the afternoon. But Dr. Russell is a even tone kind of person, so we wasn't gonna get no hooting and hollering. We got hooting and hollering from him. That was about it. It wasn't that great of a hooting and hollering, but he is the only one that did some hooting and hollering this afternoon. Yep, that's it. That's all. See you tomorrow.